Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Teaching English on Dروس Super Goal 3. Before I start, I would like to welcome my colleague Mr. Fawaz Al-Aqil, the interpreter, to the sign language. As always, we start our class with the objectives. What are we going to achieve at the end of this class? First, students will be able to identify what narrative writing is. What is narrative writing? Next, the student will be able also to identify 5 sensory verbs that are look, sound, feel, smell, and taste. Also, the students will be able to use some sequence words. What are these sequence words? They are when, while, before, and after. Also, the students will be able to use some punctuation marks in their writing, like the quotation marks and the exclamation mark. Okay, we are at the next to the last step in this unit, Unit 6. What was it like? And today, inshallah, our class will be mainly on writing and project, section number 9 and section number 10. As always, before we start, we make a revision. What is revision? To study what we have studied before. Okay, you remember in the previous lesson, it was about reading. And reading is very much connected to our class today, which is writing. Because as we told you before, whenever you read well, that means you are going to write well. Okay, what was the reading that we studied in the previous lesson? The title of that passage that we read in the previous lesson was Art of the Pen, Arabic Calligraphy. That is a museum. And we had 5 paragraph passage that is consisting of 286 words. And we know that it is in 5 paragraphs, and how the writer divided that article. He divided according to idea. Each paragraph has its own idea. You remember that what was the previous, the first paragraph was about? It was about what the art of the pen, Arabic calligraphy. As always, the first paragraph should be an introduction. What do you mean by introduction? Introduction, the writer tries to draw a general image in the mind of the reader. So the writer gives just general idea about what he or she is going to write about. The second paragraph, the writer starting to give details, okay, supporting the introduction paragraph, how calligraphy started, and the beauty of the Holy Quran. In the third paragraph, if you still remember, the writer wrote about why the clear script is needed. And we answered that because Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, wanted to spread Islam, and he wanted to spread also the Quran. And he asked his companions, radiallahu anhum, to start writing the script. Okay, and also in the paragraph number 4, the 6 main styles of Arabic calligraphy. As you know, we have 6 styles of handwriting, or we call them scripts in Arabic language. The first one started with Coptic script, which is the oldest one. And also the 5th paragraph started to give the other 5 scripts about our styles of calligraphy. Also, we had some information about the calligraphy, as we will mention some of them here. Calligraphers write with a traditional pen called qalam, as we know now. It is usually made of red bamboo. What is bamboo? This is a kind of tree called bamboo. Okay, they use the branch of this tree to make a qalam, okay, which is a pen. The end of the pen is cut so the size and angle are appropriate for the script it is going to write. Okay, to becomes appropriate for the script that it needs to be written in. Calligraphy is usually written with black ink made of soot and gum Arabic. What is soot? This is soot. When you make a fire and the remains of the fire becomes a soot, and they use it for writing. Also they use gum Arabic, okay, like this one. This is called gum Arabic for writing as well. And also they use water. It is water soluble, so that so mistakes can be easily corrected. The water soluble is the soluble that can be omitted or can be easily erased. Okay, colored ink and even gold are often used in the Holy Quran. Okay. Lastly, historically, when we talk about the history before, calligraphy was written on papyrus. What is papyrus? That is papyrus. What is it? It's made from reeds. Reeds are kind of trees also that you can find near the ponds like lakes, like small gathering of water. And parchment. What is parchment? This is a kind of parchment. What is it made of? It's made from animal skin. Okay, they have some animal skin and they use it as something for writing, until paper was introduced. Recently and some times ago, paper started to be introduced and people start to write on paper. The paper is often colored by the calligrapher. Also, calligraphers before, the writer or the scriptors start to write and to make colors for these kinds of parchment before. Okay, now we will review four words from the previous lesson also. We're talking about a noun, which means traditions, languages, or buildings that were created in the past. Before, in the past, and we inherit something from before, we call it heritage. Okay, that are the things, the traditions and things that we took from our fathers and grandfathers. Okay, Islamic Heritage Museum is proud to present a special exhibit. And here we talk about another noun, a set of letters used for writing a particular language, that is a script. We know that in Arabic we have different kinds of scripts and with different kinds of Arabic styles. Okay, it was important to have clear script that all people of Islam could read. Okay, why they introduced different kinds of scripts so that other people in all other Islamic countries will be able to read the Holy Quran. An adjective starting with G, shapes such as squares, triangles, or rectangles. Okay, shapes, we call it what? Like these ones, we call it geometric. Okay, this is an adjective called geometric. It has geometric letters that make it easy to cut into wood or stone. That is a kind of Arabic style, that is the thuluth style. Okay, the last word of today here, and before we finish revision, that's an adjective written with rounded letters that are joined together. If you write with rounded letters joined together, like what we do in English also sometimes, called cursive, like this one, it's called cursive. If you connect letters together in your handwriting, that is called cursive. Okay, the other main styles are cursive and have connecting letters beside the script that we mentioned, the style that we mentioned. Today, now we are starting our main class, which is about writing. Okay, what is writing? Writing is conveying a meaning. You have a meaning and you have in your mind something and you want to transfer it to the reader. Okay, are there rules for writing? Of course, there are rules to make your writing better. What are these rules? This is what we are going, inshallah, to learn in our class today. We start with a kind of writing called narrative writing. What is a narrative writing? Narrative writing is a kind of writing that you use to tell something happened to you, a story, or to talk about events that happened in the past. Okay, and usually we need our senses to tell what we had in the past. What are these senses? As you can see here, we have hands, we have eyes, we have ears, we have a nose, and we have a tongue. Okay, what are these? Let's write them down. Okay, the first one here, we call them what? They are hands. Okay, and here we have what? They are eyes. We have eyes. And here, these are ears. And here we have a mouth, and inside the mouth we have tongue. Okay, What else we have? We have here something also that is a nose. We call it nose. These five organs that we have, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created to us, they are our main gate to the world. We can notice something through these five senses. Okay, what do we use hands for? We use hands for feeling. Very good. So we use hands for like this, feeling. Okay, we use them for feeling. And eyes, we use them for sight. Okay, or looking, or watching, or seeing. Okay, ears for hearing. We use our ears to hear things. We use our nose to smell. Okay, and we use our tongue to what? To taste. Very good. To taste. So these are, as we said before, are the main gates that we can recognize the world around us through these five senses. We call them five senses. And if you want to tell somebody that you recognize something by one of these, there are certain verbs, we call them sensory verbs. We call these as sensory verbs. If you notice something and you want to describe it as nice, good, beautiful, okay? For example, let's use the adjective here, nice, okay? You want to use this adjective, nice. If you notice that thing, or if you recognize it by your hands, touching it, you can say it feels nice, okay? Because you notice that through your hand. So you can say it feels nice. If you notice it with your eyes, you can say it, what? It looks nice. Okay? This is how we describe things using our senses. Okay? Sensory. And also, if you notice something with your ears, you can say it sounds. Very good. It sounds nice. Okay? If you notice something with your nose, okay, what is it? What does our nose do? You can say it smells. It smells nice. Very good. That's very nice from you also. And if you eat something and you like this thing and you want to describe it as good or nice or delicious or tasty, what do you say? You can say it tastes nice. Okay, so we use feels for feeling. When we use our hands or our skins, our body in general, we have a sense of feeling. Also, when you notice something with your eyes, you say looks. It looks nice. When you notice something with your ears, you say it sounds like. And if you notice something with your nose, you can say here it smells nice. Okay, it smells good. It smells delicious. It smells tasty. Whatever adjective you can use also. And if you notice something with your tongue, you eat something and you like it, you say it tastes nice. Okay, these are, we call them sensory verbs. Okay, these are the sensory verbs, and you can use one instead of all of these. In general, you can say seems. Okay, it seems to me, generally. Okay, not in particular sense of the five senses. You can say it seems nice. Okay, you did not specify a specific sense. So here we can say it seems nice. Okay. Now let's move to the next slide that we are going to learn about the way of narrative writing, how to write narratively very well. Okay. Just a second. Let me start the screen again. Here. And here we have the five senses. As we said before, these five senses send messages to your brain, and your brain can tell about these things, how you can describe these things, as you can see on this picture now. Okay, now what does the reader want to know? If you want to write a narrative writing, what does your reader want to know? You have to put in your mind, whenever you want to write a narrative writing, when you want to convey a meaning, when you want to tell a story, for example, you have to put in your mind the WH questions, okay, the information questions, because your reader wants to know what you are going to tell him about the place, about the time, about the characters, persons, about lots of things. So what are these things that we need to know, what your reader wants to know? The writer wants to know where it happened, okay, and the writer also wants to know the time, when. If you put in your mind these things, you will make your writing better, okay, and appealing. You will make your writing attractive to the reader, and your reader will find it easier to understand you. Okay, so where, when. Also, your reader wants to know who, the character, who these events or these things that happened to you, that you're going to tell, who are involved in this story. And also he wants to know what. Okay, here we talk about people, and here we talk about things. Also, if possible, the reader wants to know why this happened. Also, the reader wants to know, lastly, how it happened. If you cover these WH questions in your writing, that means your writing will be better and easy to be understood. Okay? Let's move now to the next slide so that we learn more about the narrative writing. Okay? Now, in your book, in the writing section here, think about a museum. Okay, now you are going to start writing. Think about a museum, performance, or sport event that you attended. So here we notice attended. What do you mean by attended? Something that I participated in or that I was present at that time. So it is very important to notice that you will write in the past tense because you attended that. Okay? Try to remember as many sensory details as you can. Write notes in the chart. So you noticed something. How you noticed that? You used your 5 senses that we mentioned, and you are going to write things that you noticed these things with your 5 senses. Okay, so you used your sight to see things. You used your ears, okay, to hear something. You used your nose to smell something, and you use your tongue to taste something. Also, you notice something with your hands. You felt something. So you want to convey the meaning, and you want to tell this meaning. Okay, what are the adjectives that can be possible to be noticed with these 5 senses? If you talk about sights, you can notice sizes like large, like bright, dark, things that you can recognize by your eyes. That is called sight. Also, if you notice something with your ears, like loud, quiet, silent, these adjectives can be noticed with your ears. Okay, and smell, to smell using your nose, you can smell something and you describe it as fresh, you can describe it as smoky, and sometimes rotten. If something is not kept very well in the fridge, for example, or in not a suitable temperature, it's called rotten, bad smell. Taste, if you taste something, you can recognize the taste through your nose as sweet, for example, sour, and bitter. Bitter means opposite of sweet, which is with no sugar. And also touch, you can feel something as smooth, soft, or rough. How do you feel that? How do you notice this thing? Through feelings, through your hands, for example. Okay? Now, a narrative story is very important, as we said. How to tell a story, you have to concentrate on 5 skills. As we always tell you, whenever you want to write, you have to watch your vocabulary, your grammar, your spelling, your punctuation, and your handwriting. Okay? Above all, you need to notice how to organize your ideas, because your reader wants to read something very clear, and the reader wants to enjoy your writing. So if you organize your ideas, starting with a general idea, then starting to support your idea with examples, and you defend your main topic sentence, and you conclude your writing in the paragraph in a conclusion. Okay, this is very important, and you can learn this, as we always tell you, by reading. If you read a lot, if you read very well, if you think while reading, that will also increase your ability and support you to be a good writer or a witty writer. Okay, now we have a writing corner here, some advice to write, some advices here, or pieces of advice to write the narrative. A narrative story usually describes the events in the order that they happen. When you tell a story, you need to tell the things according to the time. Okay, so if you want to tell according to the time, that means you have to use sequence of time, the sequence of time. You can say first, second, then, after that, and while, when, all these things. And you can tell them also in the right order as they happened. Also, it describes what the writer feels and senses. If you tell your reader your feeling, he or she might feel the same feeling as you if you describe it very well. So the reader can imagine being there, might imagine that he is living what you are saying. Number two, use time words, as we said before, to show sequence, the order of the things or the actions that happen. When, as, while, before, and after. This will help the reader also to know the sequence of the events that you're talking about. If a time word begins with a sentence, there is a comma after the time close. When I arrived there, I found something. So after there, you need to put a comma, because when I arrived there is called time close. So don't forget that, because we'll do it in a while now in our writing. An exclamation point, as you can see here, we call this exclamation. When do we use the exclamation point? Shows strong feeling. If you have strong feeling, excitement, happiness, for example, you write the exclamation mark. Like the writer is shouting. If you talk about somebody that he or she is shouting, you put this exclamation mark. Also, you need to notice something, and that you will need to use the quotation marks. Okay, these are the quotation marks. When do we use the quotation marks? Around the exact words that a person says. If you mention something that a person said in your story or in your narrative writing, you need to put quotation. What does the quotation mark indicate or mean? It means that this is directly what the character, what the person said. Okay, in the writing here, read about Faisal's experience. Now we're going to convey and we're going to apply what we studied now in this exercise. Read what Faisal's experience at the horse race. Faisal went to a horse race and he experienced something. Learn the meaning of the words in the box. We have a list of words now. We need to learn their meaning, then complete the paragraph with the words. The first one, nervous. Faisal now is talking about a horse race. So he saw a horse which was nervous. What do you mean by nervous? Like this one. When the horse does like this, that indicates that the horse is nervous. What do you mean by crowd? When there are a lot of people, like this one, we call it crowd. What do you mean by thunder? Thunder is the sound that we hear when the weather is cloudy and when it is about to rain, or when it is raining, we see lightning and we see thunder. And this word, thunder, is used metaphorically in the passage that we are going to read now, as it means a strong sound, okay? Like the horse. When the horse hits the ground, it makes a very loud sound, like thunder, okay? And here we talk about shock. Shock is the past of shake. When the ground shakes, okay, like this one, as you can see in the picture here, we call it the ground shock, okay, because the writer was describing the running of the horses as shaking the ground. Okay, silent, like this one, you cannot hear anything. Parade, the parade, when there is a marching, when people or things or animals pass by audience, we call it parade. Okay, like this one, as you can see here. Here also we have excited. When somebody is excited, he does like this, a degree of happiness. Okay, cheered. When they cheer also, they feel very happy. Okay, like these ones, like all spectators do like this. Now let's read what Faisal has written about his experience. Last month I went to the horse race for the first time. You notice how Faisal started with when last month. Now the reader can imagine the time. Okay, and also who. When he talked about himself, I, because he talked about the character. Went, what? Went in the past, okay? To a horse race, where also. Here we talk about where. So here in the first sentence, now how the writer, Faisal, wrote very well. He told you all the things, all where, when, who, and what in one sentence. Now the reader can imagine the situation and can live what Faisal is going to say about that. For the first time. How often? For the first time. He went there for the first time. Before the race, my father and I walked by the stables. Stables are the place where horses are kept to see the horses. While the jockeys are the riders of the horses. Before they start, they march or they make a parade in front of the spectators or the audience. Okay, paraded past us in front of them. One of the horses jumped up on its back legs. The horse named Prince, the horse was named Prince, was very nervous because he's going to make a race. The horse was nervous, but the jockey looked confident. I said to my father, that's the winner. Faisal expected that the prince, the name of the horse, is going to win. Then we pushed through the noisy crowd. There was a lot of sound in the crowd, in the spectators, to find a place near the track. The horses were ready to start, and suddenly the crowd was what? When the horse is about to start, the spectators or the audience, the crowd becomes silent. They don't make any kind of sound. Okay, we have other four words to put here. They are off. We mean by they are off, that means the race started. Okay, should you notice here the quotation? What does this indicate? As we said, it indicates that this is what the announcer said. Okay, shouted the announcer, they are off. The horses thundered past us. What do you mean by thundered? That means when they hit the ground by their feet, they make a very loud sound. Okay, notice here how he described this as thunder past us, and it felt like the ground shook. That means the ground was shaking because of the strong sound. They disappeared around the track. So I looked in my binoculars. Binoculars are the things that we use to see far things from a distance, to see far things, to make things that are far very close. Okay, Prince was in front by a neck. In front, that means passing, making himself the first. I started to jump because I was what? He was excited. He was excited because he expected that Prince will win. As they crossed the finish line, the crowd cheered. They means welcomed the horse. Prince was the winner by 2 lengths. So as Faisal expected, it won. Now write about an interesting museum, performance or sport event that you attended. You need it's your time now to write about that and to apply what we told you about. And you can find on your book, page 114, this exercise G, and it can tell you what to do and how to apply these skills, these writing skills. Okay, and also at the end of this class, we're going to show you the project. Check the events in your town. Choose one. You need to check for the events that we are living in our town now, in our cities or in our Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Choose one and make a brochure about it. Present your brochure to the class. So you need to make a brochure about the event and to describe it and to apply what we have learned in your writing. Okay, this is one of the projects that your colleagues have done. Like this one here, we're talking. This brochure is talking about Riyadh season. What happened in Riyadh season? You can see here. I looked up events online this week. I have decided and lots of other information. Okay, so this is the last part of our class today. Thank you for watching and see you inshallah in our next episode. Goodbye.